It's finally here, the long-awaited deep dive review on the Lone Star Grillz Cabinet Pellet Grill. We have been putting this beauty to the test for 6 months now, and there is a whole lot to share, so let's fire it up. I'm David Gafford, and here at the Barbecue Lab, we put over 100 outdoor cooking and outdoor living products to the test every year to help you make the best decisions on where to invest your outdoor cooking dollars. This Lone Star Grillz cabinet has lived in our garage and gets pulled out whenever we're cooking for large groups. Before we get into cooking for crowds, let's talk about how this video came to be. This is not an inexpensive cooker. Without any add-ons, it costs around $4,000, and with the add-ons you'll see in this video, this grill comes with a price tag of just a bit over $5,500. While I would love to be able to just purchase every grill that you guys want me to make a video on, it's just not realistic. Viewers like you don't pay me for content, and me purchasing a $5,000 grill that I can't earn any commission on to shoot a video, it's just a non-starter. That would be a terrible business model. However, Chris from Lone Star Grillz asked if he could support the nonprofit work we do cooking for large groups by sending us a pellet cabinet to use and increase our capacity. We didn't sign a contract saying we provide any video content, no money changed hands, there's no script that he's submitted telling me what to say. This is just me creating the video you guys have asked for, telling my experience with the Lone Star pellet cabinet. I'm going to give you my experience without sugarcoating it, so if that's for you, let's start with walking through the particulars of this cooker. Here we are out at the cabinet. I'm going to take my tape measure and show you some of the dimensions so you know what size this thing really is. I've got right at 60 inches if you count the handle on the side all the way across. The height to the top of the cooker is 65 1/4. The height to the top of the stack is 78 inches. The depth of the cooking chamber itself is 26 inches. If you count the front shelf, I'm getting 36 1/2 inches. If you're thinking about the off-road package like we have here, I've got right at 45 inches. The off-road package plus the shelf itself, I'd say you're safe at about 47 1/2 inches. The weight on this cooker is 665 pounds, depending on whether you get the off-road package or not. So just basically plan on this thing being 600 to 800 pounds. It's incredibly heavy. Now, if you look over here at the pellet hopper, let me go ahead and give you a tour here. This whole thing right here is the pellet hopper. When you look here, you can see that you can open the lid, and inside of this, you can put 40 pounds of wood pellets. Right now, we have some char hickory in there from Lumberjack. You'll see that later in the video, but this is 40 pounds of pellets, which can give you an incredible amount of burn time. Let's get inside the grill and show you around. There are 4 racks, and these racks pull all the way out. You can take them out, you can put them back in, really nice and easy. Easy to clean that way too. My favorite way to clean them, pressure washer. On the top, above this top rack, you have the sausage hanging rods. This is where you can hang ribs, hang sausage, whatever you want, but these come standard, and if you look inside, could bring the camera over here, Mel, you can see that there's a little V inside of here that allows you to put the sausage rod and have it hang out of the way, right like that. If we move the bottom 2 shelves up and out of the way, you can see here we have a heat deflector. This piece right here is the heat deflector for the entire grill. This allows us to be an indirect cooker, and if you notice, there's a sliding plate. This allows the fire to come straight from the burn cup up into the grill, meaning that you have a grilling surface that's about this size, which is quite lovely. Let me get the tape measure and let's measure it. I've got 14 inches deep by right around 10 inches wide for that burn area. If we take the entire deflector out, you can see what's going on underneath. You can see the internal thermometer right here. This is what tells you the internal temperature of the grill. Runs through the sidewall. If you look right over here, there's the hopper. That hopper has the thermometer coming this way, and it's connected to the fireboard controller. The fireboard controller is a digital controller device that allows you to be able to control the temperature digitally. We'll go more into that later, but that is pretty much the inner workings of the grill, except for one last thermometer. You can see this is the thermometer that sits just on the outside of the front door. If we close the door up, here is that thermometer. Now, I will say, this thermometer and the fireboard thermometer do not always agree, because remember, whenever you have one thermometer, you have a measurement. When you have two thermometers, you have an argument, and it's almost always the case. It doesn't matter how good the thermometers are, they're measuring in different places, and they're measuring different air. So the temperature coming off of this thermometer with this point right here is a good couple feet away from the other thermometer back there. So do not expect them to agree. They just don't. All right. So if you want to know what the temperature is right behind the door, about right here, that'll tell you. If you want to know what the temperature is right down here below the second shelf, that will tell you. Let's talk about the off-road package for a second. There's a lot of people who have questions about it. These are golf cart tires. They are lovely and they go through the turf quite nicely. The issue that a lot of people are discussing is the turning radius. And so if you come down here and focus on this tire, you can see what the turning radius is of this grill. If I go ahead and move it this direction, that's as far as I can go before the tire hits that cart. Now, if you look at that angle, you could say this can make a full circle in about maybe 20 feet. But the problem is that if you're going and you keep it just barely off of this and you hit any kind of a bump, what happens as you're pulling this around, this tire hits the side and you just have this massive rub and it stops. So its turning radius is limited because of the shelf underneath. Would I rather have casters? Absolutely not. And the reason for me is I have to get off of this patio, through the grass, all the way around to the driveway every time I want to use this thing, because I keep this in the garage to keep it nice and looking not rusty is the whole goal, right? So since I'm constantly moving it from the garage to the patio through the grass, the off-road package is the best way to go. I wish there was a tighter turning radius on this, but the only way that I'm aware of would be to either widen the base, which means it takes more storage space in the garage, or completely remove the shelf and go to an individual spindle. And that's something they could do. It's not what they've done. I still like the off-road package for this because it gives me the ability to take it all types of places, easily trailer it, and get it through the grass whenever I need to. Our grill came with the logo plate upgrade. I love this personally because, well, it says the Barbecue Lab and it's going to be on there for the life of this grill. I like that. The only downside I would say is that this right here is the probe port. If you move this, you can put probes through here from the fireboard controller, but as smoke comes out the probe port, it has the tendency to want to discolor the stainless. So that's a bit of a challenge if you're constantly using the probe port. You can clean it off, but know that stainless does yellow over time, and ultimately you might have some staining on your logo plate. All of that is fine and good, but will it pass the Barbecue Lab 24-point perfect grill checklist? Let's find out. I've done many cooks on this grill, and we're going to cover a lot of them while I walk you through our perfect grill checklist. If you want to learn more about this checklist and how you can use it to find your perfect grill, click the link up above or down in the description below. It will show you where you can get your own downloadable copy of this checklist for free. Now, I've already given you the price range of this smoker, and it's not your big box store grill price that we're talking about here. What you do get for the price is over 600 pounds of grill, and I'm loving that. The price point isn't for everybody though, so a reluctant 3 out of 10 for the price of this one. When we look at capacity, this grill has the most cooking capacity of any grill I've reviewed, so nothing other than a 10 out of 10 will do. I've filled it up with pork butts and learned that it's better without the foil pan so the air can circulate better. A grill full of hundreds of chicken wings proved that it's an absolutely massive capacity on this cooker, a well-deserved 10 out of 10. For weight and size, this isn't a smoker that is designed to be lifted up by a couple of guys and thrown into the back of a pickup truck. This is a trailer load to transfer grill, and I recommend a no-ramp, ground-level load trailer to make things easy. It's incredibly heavy and well-built, so it's a 10 out of 10 for the weight and size. This grill is not blowing off the patio in the wind. Searing ability is up next, and for a pellet grill, I was pretty happy with how much of a sear we got when we tested a couple of sirloin steaks. I filled the hopper with char hickory lumberjack pellets and set the auger to a manual percentage of 80% auger speed as recommended in the Lone Star Grillz manual. The grill was spitting flames when I went to load on the steaks, and it's a good sized area you can sear with here. I could have fit 6 steaks in this area over the flames, so that was impressive. After 5 minutes on the first side, here's what the sear looked like on this smoker. I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 simply because it's a smaller sear area than the grate size, and it's not that 1,000 degree sear that we can get from other grills. It's a smoker first though, so that it even scores well at all speaks to the thought that was put into this grill. For the low temperature capacity, this is where this grill really shines. The fireboard controller will get you down to 160 degrees Fahrenheit for a low, but if you want to set the auger control to manual, you can get even lower. There's a cold smoke option on the fireboard controller that fills up the burn cup about 3/4 of the way with pellets. It lights a fire and then shuts down the igniter and the fan to give you 3 to 6 hours of cold smoke. Low temperature is a 10 out of 10 for me. If cooking indirect is what you want in a grill, this cabinet is all indirect cooker. While you can move over the deflector plate cap and expose the firebox, you don't have to. And with the cap on, it's all indirect. This is an indirect cooking machine, so a 10 out of 10 for that function. On the multifunctional usage of this grill, there are a few things we've already covered. It can smoke, it can grill, it can cold smoke. Like you see in all pellet grill advertising, it can bake, it can roast, it can braise. Okay, we get it. When we're talking about multifunctional use, I'm talking about can you griddle with it? Cook pizza, use charcoal, use wood splits, you get the drill. This is a multifunctional cooker, but I think a 6 out of 10 is fair because there's a fair number of the things I just listed that this cooker just isn't meant to do. The quality of construction is on par with grills I've given a 10 out of 10 to in the past. Very thick metal walls that will probably outlive me as long as I take care of it. It's made in the USA, and when compared to big box store smokers, there's really no comparison. Absolutely a 10 for me in construction quality. Since this is a pellet grill, controlling the temperatures of this grill is simple. Just set the temperature on the fireboard controller to what you want and the grill takes care of it for you. There's even an app on your phone to change temps both locally and when you're on the go by connecting to Wi-Fi, so a 10 out of 10 for control as well. Cleaning this beauty isn't fun, but let's be honest, no pellet grill is easy to clean. The main cleaning you need to do is cleaning off the grates, which if you have the expanded metal grates, is admittedly more difficult than standard bar grates. That's the most difficult part for me. With almost every pellet grill, cleaning out the ash in the burn pot is a task you need to do every 3 to 4 cooks. On this cabinet smoker, I find if I don't do it every time before I light it up, it may not start. Luckily, it's pretty easy to do. Just release the latches on each side of the pellet box, pull it out, and dump it. It's way easier than removing the whole deflector and that whole routine with other pellet grills. I think a 6 out of 10 for cleaning is a fair score. If you look at the available accessories for the Lone Star pellet cabinet, there are quite a few. The main cooking accessory is the available pizza oven add-on, which fits on top of the pellet burn cup and filters the heat right into the pizza. There are various shelf additions that can be added, multiple caster sizes, including the off-road package, lots of ways to pimp your new grill. I think an 8 out of 10 is a great score for available accessories. When it comes to fuel for this grill, it runs on wood pellets. That's how all pellet grills run, using these little extruded pellets of wood. But something different about the Lone Star pellet grill is that they can use wood chips as well. Now, I don't mean a bag of wood chips from Lowe's, but a box of perfectly sized chips from Lone Star. You can blend these chips with pellets up to a 50-50 ratio, and we put it to the test to see if we could tell the difference in flavor and bark. Here's the pellet-only pork, and then here's the pork with both wood chips and pellets. We could see and also taste the difference. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for fuel flexibility. This smoker comes standard with a black painted folding front shelf. However, there are a ton of front and side shelf options on the website, but they're all extra add-ons. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 since you can have exactly what you want: stainless or painted metal, expanded metal, and so on. The standard cooking grate material is expanded metal, and if I could do it all over again, I'd upgrade to the optional stainless steel grates. I've personally never loved expanded metal as a grate material. It can shred the bottom of the meat that you're cooking, and it's the worst of all grate materials to clean. There's also the weight consideration to expanded metal as well. If I load this grate down completely full of pork butts, it will bow quite a bit. I'd like to see round bar as an option, so I'm going to give it a reluctant 2 out of 10 for the grate material, and I'd recommend the stainless upgrade. Here's where the grates can come and redeem themselves, because if it's upper rack that you're looking for, this grill has 3 of them. One main grate plus 3 upper grates means that it's a no-brainer 10 out of 10 for upper grate space, with this having the most upper grate of any grill I've ever used. By the way, if you're getting value out of this video, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more videos just like this. Monitoring the temperature is easy on a pellet grill. The Fireboard controller gives you 6 wired probe ports that you can use as either ambient air temp thermometers or as internal meat thermometers. The grill ships with 2 meat probes and 1 ambient probe, and it's also controllable via an app on your mobile device. Like I said earlier in the video, the door dial and the digital dial rarely agree, but it's an easy 8 out of 10 for monitoring. For storage space, it's the lower level rack that spans the width of the grill. It's quite a bit of storage space, but I admit that I haven't really used it in 6 months of working with this grill. I don't want to put bags of pellets down there since I don't want them getting wet. I don't use another fuel source like wood splits, and my tools, they hang from the included tool hook cutouts in the front shelf. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 for storage. Depending on the wheel package you choose, mobility will drastically differ. If you choose the standard 5-inch casters, you're going to have a really hard time moving 665 pounds of grill through the grass. Same with the 8-inch caster upgrade, but if you're only on concrete, either is a great choice. What I have here is the off-road package, and it handles going off-road easily. It's still 665 pounds of grill though, so tugging this through the grass can be difficult and would be easier if Mrs. Cameraman would put down the camera and help, but I digress. For a heavy grill, it's as mobile as you order it to be. I wish it had a tighter turning radius on the off-road package, but the bottom shelf limits that turning radius. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for mobility simply because you can determine your grill's mobility based on the wheels that you order. There's a lifetime warranty on the main smoking chamber and structural steel components, a 3-year warranty on the controller and the igniter, and a 1-year warranty on the auger motor and fans. What I think is important here is availability of replacement parts, and the Lone Star Grillz team can ship you parts if you need them. That's important in the event that your auger breaks or the electronic components give out. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for the warranty. The cooking interaction height on this grill is almost too difficult to rate since there are 4 levels of interaction here. The top grate is hard to work with because it's so tall. The second level is difficult but manageable. The third is probably fine, and the bottom is easy. Whether you're tall or short, there's a cooking level for you, but if you're on the shorter side, you might need a step stool to really control what's going on with the top level. A 7 out of 10 is what I'm going to go ahead and give it for cooking height. The cooking evenness on the Lone Star pellet cabinet is hard to answer. If you run this grill with nothing in it, it's relatively even. If you pack it absolutely full of pork butts with foil pans, there's a massive difference between the temps on the top and bottom shelves. It all comes down to airflow, and if you put pans under your pork butts or pans under trays of meatballs, you're messing with the airflow, giving it massive barriers to work around. My best advice working with this pit is to plan on rotating your food if you have the grill full. The bottom will likely finish first, and you can rotate bottom to top. That's what we do, and it's worked fine for us. Just learn your cooker and adapt. This is the way. A 5 out of 10 is what I think is fair for evenness for a grill that cooks hundreds of pounds of food at a time in a small footprint. If the wind is a factor in your area, this grill does pretty well with normal winds. The times that we've had trouble though, it's when we had 40-mile-per-hour gusts cooking in December while it snowed. I don't know many cookers that wouldn't have a problem in those conditions. I'm going to give this grill an 8 out of 10 because while it works in most scenarios, there have been some Midwest winds that slowed it down during a cook or two. I can't really speak to regional considerations for you, but be aware that if you have burn bans, saltwater spray, or an infestation of critters, that might sway your decision one way or another. To talk about flavor, we need to put it into the context of the flavor you can get from a pellet grill, since this is what it is. This cabinet has all the flavor of a traditional pellet grill like you'd find in a big box store, but it's the pellet and wood chip combo that brings the most flavor in our testing. I've tested hickory chips with hickory lumberjack pellets, and I could definitely taste the hickory on this grill. I think it's an easy 8 out of 10 for this grill on flavor. If you add up all of the scores in the 23 categories, we get a total of 171 out of a possible 230. No grill is perfect, but that's a great showing for Lone Star Grillz and the pellet cabinet. Now it's your turn. What categories did you agree with, and which do you think I completely whiffed on? Let's talk about it down in the comments and explore some more about the Lone Star Grillz pellet cabinet. If you'd like to see how some of the other grills have rated with their perfect grill checklist scores, check out these videos coming up on the screen in 9 seconds. I'm David Gafford with the Barbecue Lab. Behind the camera is my lovely wife, Melissa. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.